Well, at least they make it so that if I take anything from these barrels and boxes, it'll be stealing. In all the other towns I've been in, I can just loot whatever's on the street. Weird that they make this one is the one that you can't do that. Oh, goodness. Mushrooms? You do shrooms? Filthy bastard. A portly, smiling man stands behind a wooden counter, polishing a buckler. He looks up. Haven't seen you before. Always glad to see new faces in town. Company's good for business, and chatter's good for the soul. That's why I always say. Anyhow, what can I do you for? What's been going on in Dyford? Oh, we're a quiet little town. Not much happened here, especially not since the legacy hit. People realized they couldn't have babies and just stopped trying altogether, and that takes a lot of the excitement out of the day-to-day, if you can believe it. What? Just because you can't have babies doesn't mean you can't have sex? What's wrong with these people? God. The tall grass? Oh my god, it's exceptional. Nice. Weapon reach, obviously. Predatory. Ooh, overbearing. Crit can conflict. Oh, that's cool. That's a good pike. The Hour of Saint Rumbold. Great sword. Annihilation plus 0.5 to crit damage multiplier. Interesting. That's 50% to damage. Crits can inflict prone. An accurate 3. Ow. This is also interesting. Grudge Keeper. Fine. Okay, it's not that great. Damage against prone, stun, and flanked enemies. Don't really care. Ooh. Accurate, fine, valiant. Accurate when below endurance, Nope, not that great. Not that great. And that's just fine stuff. Ooh, the mosquito. Draining. 20% damage and restore as endurance. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. No one uses a fucking rapier, though. But that's cool. Fine, fine, fine. Angio's Gabison. 2 to athletics. That's weird. 2 to athletics. Is only fine. I can put that to 4, so that's 8. It's not bad, but athletics? That's just fine. Boots of Zealous Command. Zealous Aura, Air of Effect. Voice of the Mountain. Chant her area bonus of effect. Ooh! I'll take that. I don't know about this. 10 reflex and 2 athletics. Is that worth it, guys? I don't know. Mosquito's fun, though. I like that. It has accurate and fine? What? I thought you could have one or the other. You can't have both. That's weird. -5 concentration. No one uses a fucking rapier, though. We do have people that uses spears. That one's exceptional. 12k, though. Expensive. I don't like either one of those. I'll just take... Anything I can sell? There should be. Whoa. Okay. Zealous Aura. You have that, right? Savage attack and zealous focus. What? You don't have fucking zealous aura? Well, that's not cool. Oh, okay. This is a zealous aura. Okay. Got it. You should take this. What is this? Grant spells? What is this? Grants minor fetid caress. Sure. And that's for the chanter, which I don't have anymore. Sell that. Okay, let's get out. I might actually have to switch the druid out. I know. Kinda sucks. Kinda sucks. Because Sagani, I need her because I still have a quest with her. Wait, Farmer's Blight, Bloodgate Legacy, True Form. Yeah, I need... Okay, I have Haravias 1. I have Pelagina 2. Long Hunt, Sagani 3. That's nothing. Durance 4. And Adair 5. That's my 5 companions that I need to have with me. Oh. Oh, okay. So that's everyone, right? That means that's everyone here except for Alice. I can switch Alice out. Oh god, that's like my AoE DPS right there. That kind of sucks. I don't want to switch out my AoE DPS. The Grieving Mother. You must have seen something. Okay. Young elven noblewoman. Potions for sale. A young woman leans against a wagon. One arm and one side of her face are covered in bandages, with raw, rippled flesh showing underneath. A minty, tangy scent wafts from her dressing. She smiles painfully. Just venturing to town. I'm about to try some of my stocks. You're welcome to come take a look-see. Why are your stock limited? It's the damn broads. I can't even reach none of my suppliers. I'm stuck with whatever I can scrounge up in the woods. Direcap, river seed, and the like. That's well and good, but most potions require something stronger too. Troll skin, vessel bone, what have you. And then there's the really rare ingredients, things you never be able to afford, let alone find on your own. What did you find? Hendinia winces as the rest of her story comes tumbling out of her. I've been keeping an eye on a drake's nest east of the town, Direford Crossing. The beast stayed just long enough to lay a clutch and move on. Thank the Sky Mother it wasn't a full-grown dragon. She looks at her bandaged arm and grimaces. The fresh eggs are much more useful than the ones that get passed between merchants or left in the nest for weeks or more. And that clutch looked to be at its peak, though I see about getting an egg, but didn't realize so many of them had already been hatched, or that young worms are so territorial. I could get an egg for you. She keeps her gaze steady, and you see a hope kindling in her eyes and twitching at the corner of her mouth. Sure hope you're not leading me on. I don't think I could stand getting burned again. She bites her lips. If you really mean to go after it, I'll certainly pay you. Just remember, big as they are, dragon's eggs are fragile, and there are a lot more I can do with a whole one. She adjusts one of her bandages. Anything else I can do for you? I got some handy ointment if you're having a road of any time soon. Tell me more about the dragon egg. Snap perched in a cliff to the east end of Direford Crossing. That's out in the wilds, just east of here. I'm sure there are others elsewhere, but one at Direford Crossing is just the age I need. If you head out that way, be careful. The place is crawling with worms when I went out there, and I can't imagine they've gone anywhere else. How did you get burned? She turns her face around. By the flame, how bad does it look? Just say it. I know you'll be straight. Who cares how it looks? What matters is that you're okay. Suppose you're right. Good thing I know my poultices. She sighs. I told you about my run-in with the worms. I reckon you put the rest together already. I'm looking for an orphan named Nyford. I did see an orphan lady headed to Dracogen just the other day. She points across the road at a large building. I don't know her name was, but she was acting real sneaky-like. What's wrong with the roads? A noise of disgust rattles from her throat. Brigands, looters, you name it. The gods may be hollowing our babies, but it's grown folk that is rubbing out the rest of us. People are scrambling to Defiance Bay just because they're here. There's healthy births here. And all those refugees and abandoned homes attract desperate sorts like flies on dog shit. Show me your wares. Show them all to me. These are food stuff, right? Yeah. I'll buy these though. Opal, garnet, pearls, balloon, perdiot, Adra. I'll just buy everything you have because I don't know what I have and what I don't, and I need them. And they're not that expensive. Oh my god, they're really expensive. So okay. I did not know that these were not ingredients. I guess if they were ingredients, it would have told me, huh? Sell it back to her. Okay. Grieving Mother. Ah, there you go. Direford Crossing. Found it. I'll talk to you in a bit, Grieving Mother. I know that she's a companion. Don't worry. That's why I'm taking my time and not talking to her yet. She's also a cipher, which is unfortunate because I'm already a cipher. But it never hurts to have two ciphers on a team, right? What is that? Oh, it's just an asshole. Do you have good stuff? Nope. 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 Useless. You are. Useless. That trap didn't even do anything to me. I'm way high level for traps now. Traps are the most useless thing in this game. I swear to God. Okay. I'm gonna go to the inn last. Because apparently that's where every single quest leads to. Well, I mean, I already killed a giant drake. So, I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to kill this other drake, right? Can't find it anywhere. I never... We'll talk about this later. Get back to the dice. I'll take care of our customer. So, Saban. Okay. Labor. A sturdy, broad-shouldered man wipes his hand on his slacks. He reeks of the same foul compound wafting in the vats, and his arm is stained with dye. He looks at your calloused hands and nods approvingly. Fellow tradesman, eh? I hate to say it, but you won't find much work here. Rumbolt mentioned something about an ogre. Somebody's at the door. Damn it. Apparently got in. Yeah, Rumbolt mentioned something about an ogre. He's hardly talked about anything else since those pigs of his went missing. The whole town's been worried about that monster. People are staring into the shapes in their window at night, hearing his growl in the snoring of their mates. It would put a lot of mind at ease if someone got rid of it. He scraps at red pigment under his fingernails. Sometimes I venture into the wilderness, collecting ingredients for my dyes, mind you. I never seen track east of here, near the river. That couldn't have been anything else. He wipes a cloth of dye from his elbow and with his shirt tail. Something else you need. What's in the collapsed tower? It's collapsed. Nothing. He rolls his eyes and shrugs. A few hides on stretching racks and tallow stench danglers always grumbling about. The rest of it keeps dust, just like the old fool lady, Thanu, who tried to hold it. There's a bard at the inn who'll tell you that the whole blazing story if you want to hear it. Okay. Have you seen Knifred? Make a point to keep out of other people's business. Sure. Exceptional. Girdle of mortal protection. Hit damage. Decrease critical hit damage by 73%. Troll high belt. +1 endurance. What does this do? Constitution. Okay. What does endurance do for you? Oh, that's crit damage. Oh, that's regeneration. Okay, so +1 endurance per second, I think. That's good. I'll take it. She doesn't have the regen of him, so I'm going to give that to her instead. What is this? Actually, you should get this belt. Okay. I like. Oh, damn it, there's the door. Should have gone in there. Well, before I barge in there and have to kill them both, I'm going to talk to the Grieving Mother. This middle-aged peasant woman is dressed in a brown leather cloth, draped down to her knees. Her hands are working at separating stringy, colorless vegetables in a pile before her, stripping the heads off a long fibrous stem with a paring knife. She discards the stem one by one, placing the head of the veggies into a small cradle-like basket in front of her. She doesn't greet you as you approach. You're not sure she even knows you're here. I was hoping to ask you some questions. The woman doesn't respond. She keeps stripping the heads off of the vegetables with steady rhythm. She may be deaf. There's no indication she heard you. Study the woman. At first glance, she seems nothing more than a middle-aged woman, unremarkably maybe less stern than most, who seem more focused on the weaving in her lap than her surroundings. Yet you suddenly notice she's not stripping the vegetables for her any longer. She's weaving, and the vegetable pots are now missing. She still pays you no mind, her brown locks torn and snagged from lack of washing. Like many of the townfolk you've seen, there's a strange blur to her. Even the mention of her hands seems to be playing with threads that lack color, in a shape that lacks interest. It may be that she is half-minded or deaf, but something feels wrong. As you watch, her knitting takes on an odd cadence, and you have a terrible suspicion that something lurks beneath what your eyes are showing you. Focus on the woman. Her brown hair is long, almost impossibly to the length of her hands. As you follow the streams her locks downward, her hair becomes long and black, splitting off into threads of black and silver, and wrapping around her hands. She is forming a soul cradle with threads braiding a net in front of you, each finger long and sharp like a series of knitting needles, almost hypnotic. The silver and black strands of her hair weave together, with a silver predominating as a highlight, the black shadowing it. And suddenly, you are calm. You are on a plateau, almost to the height of the tower, several stories high. The plateau is like a table lying beneath a clear sky, and beneath the plateau, surrounding it in all directions, a forest, hazy with mist, although whether it is actual mist or distance or recollection. Resting in the curve of a natural arc above you is a great copper bell, half again the size of a man, hanging at attention, as if looking down on you and the event unfolding before you. The plateau has soaked in the sun, and the rock beneath you is rough and warm. The sky forms a cradle around you. You feel different, not disembodied, but you feel your body. Not disembodied, but you feel your body. Your physical contours have changed along with the surroundings, and you hear a soft series of chimes like wind chimes. At the sound, the scene gains color and texture, as if the sound is beckoning you gently forth, filling your senses and thoughts, like mist rolling softly into a sealed chamber. And focus on the chimes. The chime coaxes you deeper into the memory, and you're certain it is in memory, a warm one. You are on the stone of a plateau, your knees on the tavern texture of a ground, silver, white, shimmering like Adra. The plateau's form of it, glistening in the sun. You can feel the heat of your skin, your wrist, and your hands. Your hands are in motion, weaving, not thread, but gathering, tenderly moving along the first movements of Bear's wheel. Your hands are wet. Your hands are upon the flesh of a newborn child, and you feel the crowning of its tiny head, turning in your grip, its head slick, wet from the womb. The hands you are wearing, inhabiting, have done this many times, and they are practiced in confidence. You can feel distant pains in your own head, and as the head emerges, a stream of fluid from the womb helping the newborn slide forth, and a woman labored breath and crying out. Focus on the child, the movement of your hands. As your hands move, you hear the sound of chimes clearing, cutting through the haze of memory. You cannot see where they are coming from, but they are close, and they are meant as comfort. Of that you are certain. Draw the child forth, and coax by your hand every movement, causing the chime to sound again. Almost eagerly, the child comes forth. As it does, your hands are in motion, weaving, moving along the length of a soft, wet robe. No, an umbilical cord from the legs of the naked woman before you. You are holding a small child, still wet from the womb before you. The child cries out, its cry full of life, full of soul, the ringing of chimes echoing in its thoughts, filling it with its welcome. The soul is blurred at the edges, as if you are viewing a soul. From within the soul, it is there, It is alive. The woman before you is weeping, and at her first cry, her hand reaches out for it. Surrender the child. You surrender the child to her, something you have done many times before, and as your hands move, the chime echoed in the movement. You realize the chimes are hanging from cords on your wrist. And were once they echoed in memory, they are now echoing in the child's mind as well. The chimes are intended to welcome the child, to be its first gentle greeting into the world, a soothing sound guided by the tender motion of your wrist. You are helping to weave its thoughts, its perception, and the experience. The experience. The woman laughed with ragged joy, laughing from a parched throat. Her emotions seemed soothed, but the physical demand of labor have left her exhausted. But the child's here, the child's safe, and all atop the plateau is peaceful, calm, distant, flattening out as the memory perished. Slowly pull back, retreat from the memory. With effort, the scene bleeds of color, and your mind becomes your own again. There is no pull, no anchor, yet the sound of the chime remains. As they existed in the memory, they sound they sound here as well, and they are hanging from the woven braids of the wrists of the woman before you, even as your head is spinning from the touch of her mind. The sound of the chime on her wrists are sharp and clear, as if coaxing you back to the real world. The woman still sits before you, but she is nothing like what you first saw. She is wearing black shredded garment that drape over her form like streamers. Her hair is streak of black and runs through with silver. Her age is almost impossible to tell. She is simply feels old, like a crumbled watchtower. As she lifts her head to face you, you see that her hair drapes across the front of her face like a veil. What you first saw of her as a mental glamour of some sort, unconscious, and you realize that what you see is not what the world sees, and you are perhaps the first to see her true self. Still, you don't sense a threat in the realization. If anything, you feel a sense of relief from the figure. You can hear her thoughts as if she's glad to have been seen. Goodness, that was a lot of reading. Who are you? I am seen, but the eyes of others do not remember. You are the first to see me as I am, the call stripped aside. There is a light touch on your mind, a caress, and her left hand mirrors the motion of the touch, reaching up to the air between you. You hear the chime on her wrist sound. Softly, her hand moves as if phantomiming, resting on your cheek as a distant. And she speaks softly and slowly. Your memories, a cadence of wheels and a caravan tracks, fever, questioning by running water. She swallows, and the chime sounds as her hand shakes. Violence in the night's campfire, arrows in the dark and fleeing, falling rocks and cracking stones, and a storm. She stopped, her hand frozen in the air. The storm. The storm that brushed you, and its screaming wakes you from your mind's cradle. The question seems to be for both of you. Your memory of its painful, its cry is difficult to ignore. It's like a child, many children crying out. I encountered Biorik, yes, it did something to me. Her hands withdraw shyly, the chime sounding softly once again. The woman stands uncertainly, as if she has been sitting for some time, or is too weak to bear her own weight. You notice her cheekbones are tight, her face gaunt, yet while her stance is weak, she seems determined to stand before you. You're able to see me. It is almost a question. You suddenly realize she doesn't seem to know what you saw when you look at her. The image on the plateau, yet the image was so clear, so sharp. You're surprised she didn't feel you there. To see me is a rare gift, a watcher's gift. It felt like a pathway between our minds, but strange, gentle. So many questions, thoughts, whirling like storm winds. That storm will roar through you, deep beneath your thoughts, yet muted and secret, like an underground river. I cannot tell if it is carving new channels or eroding what keeps your true strength buried. The fact that you could hear it at all, survive it, is something few have ever done. Your power will grow stronger with each soul you touch, as it allows you to reach out to mine. There's a silence, and although it seems to last for but a heartbeat in your thoughts, it stretches out between the two of you, like a pull between your minds. You blink, take a breath, and then you realize she wants to ask you a question, yet can't form the words, as if assembling them is painful, or there simply were not enough pieces. Do you wish to travel with me? You feel a wave of fear gusted with the strength of relief, although oddly her expression does not change. Then the fear dissipates, and you feel strength and certainty, as if the plateau from her memory lies beneath you, and a calm sky looks down upon you. Oh, Alice. Sorry, you're gonna have to go. Oh, good God, have mercy. That was a lot of reading. What do you have? Fine dagger and fine crossbow. Fine padded armor. Well, let's see what else we can give her. Damage reduction is good. Incoming hits good. This needs to be changed. I still need to find a stupid sapphire. I'm gonna give her this. Is this just a crossbow? Are you good with crossbows? Let's see. She's not good with anything. Well, she can have that crossbow. What else does she have? A pike? Sure. She'll have a pike. Oh God, that looks terrible, but it's the best I can do for you. Aura of stealth. 3 to perception. Sure. And that's all I can give you, I think. Here, you can take these. Okay, let's check to see if anything is suppressed. One perception is suppressed. That's the helmet though. It's the only one I have, so it's okay. Yeah, nothing is being suppressed except for one thing, so that's good. Wait, she doesn't get restored light endurance? Whispers of trees and charmed. Blind days. Okay. She seems to be like a disabler. I'm glad she had Mind Blades. That's the best ability right there. She doesn't have the beam of level 1 though. That's good too. That's okay. Flanked for okay. Soul Ignition, she has the one I have. Fractured Volition, hobbled and weakened. She also has Puppet Strings, so that's good. Silent Scream, that's what I have. Pain Block, that's what I have. Mindless, that's what I have. Tactical Meld, accuracy when attacking the same target. And Dominate. She's more of a crowd control. Very few of these are actually good. Let's talk to her. Your mind comes bearing questions, Watcher. I had questions for you. Let our mind speak for you. I shall listen past the words. You addressed me as Watcher when we met. Do you know what a Watcher is? There's a slow chill for a moment. It seems as if she is going to fade from your vision, as if she can't bear to be seen. The title came unbidden. I do not know why I spoke of it, yet it seemed the right mantle, a familiar one. Yet I do not know from where it came. If I had given offense, oddly enough, it feels like she's not speaking to you. It feels like she's speaking to an audience. The air takes on a curious edge, a chill, which persists for a sharp moment, then fades into a dull fear. If I had given offense, forgive me. Forgive me. You would know more than I. Have you encountered Watchers before? I do not know. This is an old feeling. I do not know where it stems from. It was a word that arose when you saw me. It is said Watchers see much that others do not, and I have been hidden from the eyes of others for some time. How is it that no one can see you? Their eyes see me, but their mind do not remember past the call. A call? My face is like a call of a newborn, hiding the face beneath and for my body. I am able to wrap myself as a mother's cradling her child. I am here as you see me, but to them their eyes only see the cloak that I wear, a peasant mother, dirty, shabby, not worth knowing. As a Watcher, you see more than others. To the eyes of most, I am unseen as the spirits you share memories with. How are you able to affect minds? I divert the flow of their senses down a different path to a place easily forgotten. It is not unwelcome when one does not desire the presence of others. The surface of their mind registers the figure, but the memory slips away. They see a woman, but there is no desire for conversation, no desire for any question, and I have none to ask. When we first met, how was I able to enter your dream? I do not know. What do you speak of? If you were in my thoughts, I could not feel your presence, nor do I know what you saw there. As she speaks, you suddenly feel an odd sensation in your mind, as if walking in her thoughts would be as if... What? As if walking in her thoughts would be as if walking down a back street of a merchant stall, the claustrophobia of wooden shelves and canvas tarps made less oppressive by the sheer numbers of enticing vials and bottles that stretch out to the sides of you. You suddenly realize that whether she permits it or not, you could enter her dream and observe it without her ever knowing, and in response your hand twitches. There is a feeling that you should simply pick up a vial, taste it, sample it, and keep the memory as your own. And suddenly you find yourself back in your presence. Thought. Though you were away for but a moment, she seems unaware of your diversion of thought. It may be one of your gifts, an ability to walk in memories as easily as someone walks upon the ground. May I try it again? You feel her slowly nod, though she makes no motion. My mind is open to you, as it was before when we met. I could not stop you if you wished. I do not wish to impose. I seek your permission. My memory is not as it was. Much has been forgotten. If you could walk in my thoughts, I have nothing hidden. Her thoughts feel strangely apologetic and welcoming, both at once. Perhaps you may learn something that will strengthen you, or a clue to what caused this terrible burning of the fields of soul and hatred, and halted Beard's wheel. Her mind gives way. Your patches almost unnoticed as you enter her before, circling the memory you shared when you first met. And suddenly you are calm. You're on a plateau almost at the height of a tower several stories. Oh, is this the same thing? Although whether it was a myth, it isn't. Okay. Feels different in disembodied. Yeah, it's the same thing. I do not need to do this again. With effort, the scene bleeds color. You find your mind become your own. The grieving mother stands silently before you. She seems unaware of what you've seen or that you've encountered her memory at all. I walk in your dreams, thoughts, and I believe your memories. A mixture of curiosity and fear wells up between you. She raised her left hand and chiming at her wrists, quelling the rise within her. She is frightened, but curiously anchors her. And what do you see in my memories? I would hear you speak of them. The dream, the memory I saw upon meeting you, it was you, helping give birth to a child. There's silence, and your breath falls still. You hear the faint cry of a child in the distance, a newborn child, almost exactly like the one you heard in a dream. As you listen, the grieving mother raised both her hands as if weaving, her wrists chiming as she does so, in a semblance of the gentle turning she provided while the newborn was crowning. To your surprise, you recognize the motion and the words from the memory, even as they are new to you. As she weaves her hand through the air in front of her, the child cries, grows still, yet the sound of the chime weaves almost hypnotically into your thoughts. The sky seems sharp and clear, and you feel as if you are towering over your surrounding, as if kneeling atop a great pillar, just as she did in the memory. To your surprise, the grieving mother falls as if her strings were cut, and her knees crack hard against the ground. Her hands never cease moving in the air, the chime echoing her movements. In the ragged voice you hear her speak. The voice is that much older woman and the one before you, harsh, almost desperate. Tell me what you saw. Show me what you saw. Her eyes, now terribly sharp and real, are filmed with white, silver white, like Adra. Where were you? Oh, it was the middle of a forest, atop a great plateau. The sky was clear, mist blanketing the trees. As she kneels before you on the ground, she whispers to you, hoarsely and even fainter with the distance between you. The stone of the plateau. Its color. Tell me its color. It was silver Adra, its surface warmed by the sun. As you watch, her hand rises before her. She clasps them, then cups them, as if feeling them for the first time, and she stares down at the cradle in her hand, and the chime sounds once, twice, as it swings by the movement. Again she speaks sharp and coarse. What did these hands hold? A newborn child. There is a sudden intake of breath, and then a release. Her eyes blur close, forming into splits, but in the brief glimpse you have of her changing expression, the rippling pain in her features seems to have smoothed. She swallowed once, twice, and then you feel her once again in your thoughts, the rasping husk of her voice swallowing and drawn within her. It was the birthing bell you saw. There is surprise, followed by a rising horror swirling beneath the words. Has it been so long? Have I forgotten so much? With the words comes a river of impulses, thoughts, as if loose from a breaking dam. And as your mind wraps the impulses into words, you realize it in her muscles and her hardened thoughts relaxing and breathing again. There is much there is such an intensity you almost want to step back from the flow, but you find the wave of impulses cause great questions to float to the surface. Among them is a name, Watcher. What is the birthing bell? It is a plateau form of the spirit stone Adra. At its top is a set of great bells cradled in the reaching arms of the plateau. It stirs in the wind and it sounds for leagues when struck by a kith's hands. In distant times, the great bell serves as a Glenfathan watchtower, perhaps. Why they abandoned it, I do not know. Other men came in time, settlers, and claimed the tower as their own. I, in turn, claim it from them. The pillar became a cradle where I would draw new souls into the world. In your memory, you were helping a woman give birth. Yes, yet I believe you only saw a small part of the birthing ritual. It is not all in a moment, nor in a day. It is a journey of many years between the child, the mother, and I. There was much I could do to aid the mother. Some sought the physical comfort of ritual to steady their thoughts, even Adra from the bell. Others would seek advice, words of counsel from the days ahead. I was able to provide drop tinctures and a reading of a child's spirit to strengthen the mother. Can you tell me about the birthing ritual? The ritual was one of many steps. It took many tens of years to carve them, but always a child's thought were there to guide me. From the moment it began to awaken, to the 3 seasons within the mother, to the birthing day and the years to follow, the child's thought that's where it began. The expectant mother I could often sense her thought and those of her child before she could. I would soothe her, free her from the panic of question. I would sound the memory of the birthing bell atop the plateau in her mind, letting the memory of the vibrations fill my thoughts and hers. Often the child's soul could hear it too, so the sound of the bell echoed in the mother's thoughts. You sense the mother's thoughts? Sharing memories and thoughts can bond lives together, as can hardships, and most of all, the sharing of what is familiar. The bell itself provides shelter for such thoughts, opportunity to see deep into the crevice hollows in the rocks where one could find shelter, clefts where you could feel the Adra all around you. As she speaks, you feel your leg bent, crossed, and the warmth of walls around you, and the blanket woven thick beneath you. Such shared images can bond souls even tighter, and allow them to draw strength from each other. You mentioned the ritual lasts years. What would happen after the birth? Once the pain is channeled away, and the mother and child breathe again, I sound the birthing bells on my wrists and allow the mother to hear the child's thoughts. The ringing echoed in each other's thoughts. The bells opened the way between them, let their feeling pass into the newborn, and let her feel the child in return. And when the when the feelings meet, that is when I weave another memory and leave it tied in their minds. Did these bells play an important role in the birthing process? Yes, and for years after, I gave a set to the child after delivery. It is a reminder of the memory of the mother and the child shared. You feel an odd sensation, a warmth, and you feel a smile being shared when it flickers and is gone. As the bell coaxed the child forth, so they accompany the child onward, fastening the wrist to care for him in mind and body. There is no magic in it except for the magic of practicality. If a child sought to leave their cradle or escape their cribs, the mother could know through the warning of the chimes alone. At times, if the bond was strong, so would I. The sensation of a smile comes again, slower, more knowing between you. If not watched, children, much trouble may be had from tiny hands. The chimes are kept until the child needs them no longer. then I no longer can hear them sounding in my mind. I know their spirit has changed, and the bonds we share are long gone. This shedding may last many years, or but a few, but it is necessary. You have watched over these children for years after their births? Children are fragile things. Even the ties of blood and mind may not be enough. They must be watched, and even then, the body may fail the mind. But if watched, even the most sickly child may cling to life if determined enough, and many of their souls were tied to me. If a child's spirit failed, I could sound the chime in their mind, and grant them strength even from afar. It did not always serve, but it gave hope. It sounds like you've seen tragedy too. Enough to never wish to feel again. In the times for the bell, the children who died were cast upon the waters of the lake beyond the bell. Sometimes, while alive, if their paths and futures were deemed weak, it was a different time. Children were treated carelessly. Those times are past. Have other questions you about the birthing bell? Enough to never wish to feel it again. In the times before the bell, children who died were cast upon the water. Oh, what? What? Why? What? I clicked on this one, right? Okay. Try that again. There you go. Ask what you will, but I will provide what answer I can. What? This is so confusing. What? Okay. Why would you give a telling of a child's spirit? Many would come seeking their child's future or reading into the child's past. The lives its soul is said to have lived. There is a slow chill for a moment. It seems as if she's going to fade from your vision. As you can't. What? As if she can't. Okay. Okay, such things are not mine to see. I mean, no offense. Oddly enough, it feels like she's not speaking. Okay, wow. Why are these highlighted again? I don't understand. I was something else, but was something to me that weird carries thought never filled with such title. They distract. I think the action of the person strings. Okay, something happened, and I am very confused now. Why do you believe you were a watcher? The world has many corners, and in some corners, like the name Watcher is, more known, and it is easier than title than others. And at times, it is easier to wear. Placing a title upon what is unknown can dispel the fear of it. And I did not fight it. Even I believe is true. Though I knew little of the ways of Watcher, it even granted me strength. I was to be able to see thoughts of others, shape them, and to help guide souls. Watchers seemed enough, and the name seemed to matter little in the light of one's act. But if they came to you to read their child's soul, what did you tell them? I drew upon the present. I felt the soul of a mother before me, and I used that to tell the child's path, to give it a voice. If only the thought of the mother and the emotion lie beneath were mine to impart. I did, and so I used that as the telling of the child's future. And what if the mother's emotion were painful, hurtful? One must guard oneself when drawing upon thoughts of another. The pain of a mother's rage and disdain can be a powerful poison. You sound like you speak from experience. Yes, and I live with that weakness still. I have learned to shield myself from such edged thoughts, strip them away, and to tell a clearer picture of the child. So, you shaped their thoughts, made the readings true. This is my calling, to show them the life I see before them, and even greater, make them believe it. That is not what Watcher does. We do not shape minds. We see them as they are. Even The most strongly worded tells may not be enough to save a child and allow it to be born. If I have the strength to strip away the stems of mother's spite to expose kindness, weave nurturing from disdain and neglect, then that's all. That is my calling. And with the weight of watchers behind my thoughts, these tells gained strength, and strength I never possessed on my own, they believed. And what they believed became true. With each child that was set upon the path, the title of Watcher became stronger. You must understand, without such weight on my shoulders, many lives would have been lost, drowned, cast into the lake beyond the bell. Now the trail to the lake is lost and reclaimed by the forest, as it was meant. A watcher was not there to look over us, but it was a watcher that saved them. And with a watcher's strength, children were born, were cared for, and grew strong. I see. What use is a frightened will when a spirit is at stake? Would you let the fears of a mother end her newborn's life? You felt it in your memory, the weight of it, the importance of a child's life. It was a memory to be shared. That memory is not the truth, is it? And suddenly there is a rasping cry across her consciousness. She raises her hand, and you see a chime draped from them, yet they make no sound as she moves. A greater good was done, and children were saved. It is a choice you may be forced to make one day, and faced with it, you will make the same one. When that happens, I'll be making my own choice. That choice is not yours to make, Watcher. You will do as the world needs, and its children needs. It is greater than you and your twist of sight. Where is the birthing bell located? The birthing bell lies deep in the great forest of Dyewood, at the border of Glenfathan land surrounding it. Barely a town, not one would you find any map, but it has held important place for those there, even if we were far from the beaten track. Small families, tied like a knot, joined at the wrist in mind and thought. All were welcomed, all had purpose. I heard the name Watcher in your thoughts when you remember the birthing bell. Why? It's because I once... You see, this is what I was supposed to start off with. This is one I once believed, and others believe I was one. There's a slow chill for a moment, and it seems she was going to fade from your vision. As if she can't bear to be seen. There's another name for someone with our abilities. This cipher does not define you and more than Watcher does. It diminishes the nature of who you are, dims the flame of thought and drive. Yet, if it calms others to define you in such a way, then comfort may be taken in that. That is a cloak as well as serves to dispel fear, hate. Do you know anything? I guess not. I wanted to know more about you. And you. Okay. Why are you called the Grieving Mother? The air seems to go still for a moment, and time stretches as it did before when the two of you first met. There's a wash of uncertainty from her mind slowly snapping into questions that swirled and do not coalesce. She does not move. She seemed paralyzed, as if you have just wrapped her in a cold blanket. That is the question for you, not I. That is not my name. Although, if you wish to hang the title on me, I cannot stop you. Is that what you see? Your eyes fall upon me. So, I named you? As a watcher, you may see what I do not, or your mind shape the thoughts I project into a new meaning. There is truth in that title, but it is not all I am. So what do you grieve then? You must have felt it, seen it. It is as many names or as pain as it cost. As the words take shape, they seem to tumble over from her, and the waves is great rushing into your mind. To your surprise, you feel as if you've been touched by a Buick again, and behind it, cutting through the torrent like a knife, are the thoughts of a grieving mother. There's a wound cut across the belly of the world, a jagged knife that was stripped from the stems of men and carved furrows across the wombs of women. There is much I have forgotten, but I can feel the wounds all around me. It will not let me rest, nor not let me be. The children have gone silent, yet their voices may be heard again. Are you speaking to Hollowborn? You know, I wish... Oh well. I will finish this first before I end this, because apparently someone is lawn mowing outside my house. So there's that. The word. There's a slowness of thought, as if the word is being weighed, accepted. It doesn't feel natural to her. You can sense it. Was unknown to me was much unfolded outside world. When the curse came upon us, I thought it's a smaller thing, a thing of communities and hearts. Her thoughts seemed to stumble as if on weak legs. It was only when I walked I did feel it stretching out around me. In all the cracks of the world, children have been cursed. I do not think it was something they caused, nor something they deserve. That which is inside them has been torn away. I do not know how, but this wound must be stitched closed. The world bleeds forth from between a woman's legs. If this blood is not stemmed, the world will die and grow quiet. Do you know its cause? There's a desperation, a welling fear, and you almost feel her thoughts shivering, and you realize she has lost as you are in the matter, and then a sudden sharp clarity. I shall know it through you. Your eyes will track the cause, find the path, and I will be beside you. There is no wound that cannot be healed, and if you are truly a watcher, then this wound may be seen for what it is. You saw me where I hid. Whoever hands have stilled the world, you shall see them too. What if sealing the wound costs more damage? I will be there, and you will do what must be done. You were given your sight so that you may watch the world, and you will tend it. The children shall have their voice again, and if your will is weak, then I shall strengthen it. Lean upon me. You feel a weight in her words, as if her hands are on your shoulders. You feel the questions in your mind loose to their edge, and becomes merely words, as I lean upon you. You shall be my eyes, and I shall be your hands when the time comes. What do you think of Dyewood and the Empire? Those titles are marking us a map, and channel people's mind in violent directions. Such things are a threadbare blanket cast upon the world where men and women seek more importance than simply being. How do you see the world then? The world is a field of souls, tilled by Beer's wheel. The thought of cultures and territories do not concern me. The sowing and harvest of the field does. Beer's wheel has slowed, perhaps stopped altogether. Whatever words, title, laws, and blades not devoted to carving away the harm, nor healing that wound, holds little importance to me. Oh, holy Jesus. That was so much reading. Oh my god. Gosh, she looks so creepy. Look at that. Ooh, what's your lore? Lore, 2. You have 8 stealth? What the fuck? Jesus, girl. No wonder no one can see you. You're practically Skyrim stealthing when you're kneeling down like that. Okay, so did I gain a quest for her, or is she just learn the Grieving Mother's past? She clearly thought she was chilling, but she wasn't inclined to discuss the matter further at this moment. Perhaps she'll open up more as her journey continues. Oh, good, good. Okay. Well, that's all I can do then. Oh. Alright, into the tavern. Oh my goodness. My voice. My voice is so dead.